Welcome back to 5 Acres Honey Farm. I'm Tara Lynn, and today we're at my apiary in Western North Carolina, so 5 Acres Honey Farm West. And generally I have one goal when I go into the hives, whether that's checking for brood, checking on a pest, checking on food stores. However, I have a lot of goals today, so I'm kind of breaking a little bit of a rule, but it's a really sensitive time for colonies around the state due to like pests and also due to it being a dearth. These hives have a really bad small hive beetle infestation. So at this time last year, the 2 colonies that I had here also had a bad small hive beetle infestation, and it got so bad that they weren't able to make it through the fall. So they failed around mid-November last year. And I pretty much, judging by what I saw at this time last year, this is the time that I need to get it under control. So I've been doing a lot of different methods this summer that I did not do last year. So, well, I guess not a lot, maybe 2 different methods. So one of those methods I've gone over in some other videos, but you can kind of see there's like a little red, and I'll get a closer look for you, but there's a little red plastic piece at the entrance. And that's a small hive beetle guard. So it's an entrance reducer that has a special pattern on it that prevents small hive beetles from getting in. I also switched to solid bottom boards because I learned while observing that the small hive beetles just walk right through the screened bottom boards. So even if I had that reducer on, they were still getting in. I also, about a month ago, also because it's a time of dearth, I closed the top entrances, so now there is only a single entrance, which is that beetle guard, so that's helping to reduce the number of beetles in there. What I'm going to do today is a lot, so I'm about to just flip this around so you can get a closer look at everything that I'm about to do. All right, number 1 is I am going to remove all of the boxes to get to the bottom, and I'm going to put these Freeman beetle traps on the bottom. I've never used these before. I did a separate video when I purchased these last year in preparation for this, so planning ahead for this issue. So those are going to go on the bottom. Then I have confectionery sugar, and that's going to get sprinkled on all of them, so we'll go through that whole process as I go through it. And then a little bit different right now, I have, let me see, let me put this in the sun a little bit more. It was in the sun for the last half hour or so. I've got a fume board set up because the colonies have been producing so much honey. And so the small hive beetles are having, a fun time playing around in there. And they don't need all that honey right now. So both of the colonies, I'm going to put the fume boards on top, remove the top supers, which are honey, and put them in the freezer so they can enjoy those another time. And it removes a lot of space for the small hive beetles to make a mess and breed. So those are a few things. Once I'm done with that, the Freeman beetle traps take, from what I've understood and read, about 15 to 20 minutes. Then I have to remove all the boxes again, replace the solid bottom boards and the beetle entrance reducer. And at that point, as I'm putting the boxes back on, I'm going to be putting in the Swiffer. I don't have the Swiffer brand, but those little towels, those are great for capturing small hive beetles. And I also purchased, I think I have them on my table over here. I got my confectionery sugar. I have a whole bag of these disposable small hive beetle traps. So I have used in the past, which I have another video about, of reusing small hive beetle traps. However, I haven't used them in years and hadn't had a problem until last year, and I don't want to have to clean them right now. And so because of all of these other methods that I'm using, I decided to make the decision that I'm going to use the disposable ones. I know it's not good for the environment, but it's one little decision among many good ones. And so I'll be putting traps in the boxes with the Swiffer towels. And as I'm going through with my initial inspection, I'm going to be killing any small hive beetles that I see. So lots of different approaches here. I'm hoping everything's great. I've been watching these colonies for the past few days. Great activity, no signs of robbing, no dead bees in front. I don't see any hornets or yellow jackets bothering them at all. So from what I'm interpreting, is the only challenge they're having right now is the small hive beetles. All right, she is laying beautifully. There is a tremendous small hive beetle problem in here. It is very bad, but it's good to see she's got healthy brood. And that really appears to be the only problem they have. So awesome. Okay, you can see you've got lots of dusty little sugar spots. I did spill a little bit. I'm gonna try and scoop up as much as I can when I'm totally done so that we don't have any any robbers this way. So a few things I've learned. I had put these little Swiffer towels in 2 weeks ago, and basically there was like 1 or 2 beetles in them, and I feel like they're not working. I was just throwing them to the side so that I can get rid of them now. Now I'm setting a timer for about 15 to 20 minutes, and while they are busy cleaning the sugar off of each other, I am going to start doing the same thing I just did to this one, to this colony. The other thing that I learned was that they're not using, pretty much one of these boxes was totally empty. Also, all of that extra honey that I saw last time is actually just the right amount that they need. So I distributed all of the honey from the top super, it was over here, into all of the brood boxes, which are these bottom 3. And I pulled off the top one, and it's just totally empty frames, so I just pulled out empty frames that were in there. So now they've got food in all the places that they need it, and they have space to grow into the top, and hopefully that will help them. I'm a few hours into this now. Really much worse. It's a much worse small hive beetle problem on the farther hive. So they're down to 3 boxes. So I've taken off 2. One was completely empty, the other was full of honey, and that I distributed among the other boxes, very similar to how I did with this one here. So this one actually sat for about 45 minutes to an hour rather than the 15 to 20 minutes. Hopefully that gave them more time to remove the beetles. So now I'm going to swap them out. I already have swap out the bottom board. I already have the small hive beetle trap set up and ready, so that way I could work a little bit faster. Thought I just saw something, but it was just a leaf. So I am going to swap out the bottom boards. I think I neglected to mention I'm doing another round of Apiguard. That's the varroamite treatment. It's a thymol-based treatment, approved for organic use. Sorry, I'm a little rambly, but it is super hot out, and I'm trying to keep everything kind of organized while I'm explaining this. So I'm going to be not only putting in the small hive beetle traps, but then I'll also be putting a treatment of Apiguard on the bottom brood box and getting them all sealed up. Before I start taking them apart, actually, let's take a look at this tray. So I had put in some mineral oil. Ooh, I'm seeing some dead beetles. Unfortunately, a dead bee. But, I mean, look how many more beetles are in here than would be in the colony. So I'm not going to pull the whole thing out because I don't want to spill all this everywhere. I'd rather spill it farther away from the colony, but it looks pretty good. Here's a closer look. There is unfortunately a few minor fatalities, but in comparison, there might be 30 to 40 small hive beetles in here, which is very disappointing to me, given the cost of this trap, the amount of labor and effort I just put in. There were way more beetles than 30 to 40 in there, and I was really expecting this to knock down at least half of what I saw, and this is nowhere near half of what's in there. I mean, it doesn't hurt that we got these out, but I would have really liked to have seen better results. This does have, confectionery sugar now in it, so I don't want to pour this near the colonies. As you can see, there's already yellow jackets coming around, scoping out all of this sugar that I dropped, so they're hanging out over here. So I'm going to just put some water on this. I mean, that's just going to dilute it, but just hopefully kind of just help a little bit. So now I am going to go dump this, like I said, farther away, and then do the same thing I just did to the other colony. Just as we were leaving, then I am back home now, we checked the critter camera, and I am now a little nervous about kind of dumping all of that sugar water near the hives. So I'll show you what we saw on the camera. As you can see, we have a big boy out there, and the hives were fine behind the electric fence, so that was great. And we'll be keeping you updated on both the small hive beetle and the bear sighting. So I not only need to be vigilant about the little beetles, but also the big bear. And as you can see, I'm also trying absolutely and everything for the small hive beetles, and it's really been super challenging. And I am really open to trying something else. I was actually considering moving my colonies to that spot where that bear was walking before I saw the trail cam, because that spot is in full sun and it's right on the wood line, and keeping beetle numbers down is usually kind of encouraged by being in full sun. And so right now the hives, right now the hives are on a ridge so that they can be close to a hard line for the electric fence. That seems to be more important given that we've got a big bear around. But again, please tell me what you are doing to help manage your small hive beetles and protect from bears as well.